2 to 3 months are very critical for the students. The reason is seats are limited, scholarships are given on first come first served basis. The students who start the process at a very rightful time avoids last minute panics and bad decisions.
Parents often think the MBBS abroad journey is quite complicated. Can you jot down what the process looks like for a student applying for MBBS abroad?
Getting the offer letter generated, fund submission, apply for visa, fly and start your MBBS journey. With right guidance, it's very smooth and transparent.
So the admission process is quite transparent and straightforward, but it raises a practical concern, which is what if my loan gets rejected?
Universities, they have the flexibility on tuition fees for a semester. They can have sponsorship or co-applicants on their applications when they're planning abroad. And planning early application can reduce the financial pressures that a family gets.
My question is, how MBBS in India is different from MBBS abroad? Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ABC Podcast, Abroad and Beyond Campus. I'm your host Suyash, and today's episode is specially for the parents and the students who are asking one big question. What's after NEET? With increasing competition, limited government seat, sky-high university fees, and growing pressure to take drop years to qualify NEET, MBBS aspirants are at a crossroad. So today we're going to unpack on a very important topic: why studying MBBS abroad is not only a backup plan, but the smarter and the planned option. And to help me break this down, I'm joined by Keshav Pathak, an MBBS abroad expert. Hi Keshav, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Suyash, and I'm really happy to be here. And this is actually a very much needed conversation.
To start with, what has recently changed that a lot of students from India intend to go for MBBS abroad rather than taking a drop?
This is actually a very nice question, Suyash, and this is something that we have also noticed after 2024. And there are two major reasons for that. The first reason is that a lot of students who were giving FMGE examination after 2024, every student who was studying MBBS has to give NExT examination. So FMGE has been replaced by NExT examination. So the Indian students who were actually not giving any exit test before also has to give an exit test. So there's no biasness amongst the Indian students who are studying in India and the Indian students who are studying in abroad countries. So they are actually on the same picture when they come back to India. And the second reason is a lot of students in India now are getting educated about MBBS abroad from a platform like this, and they know the costing, they know the abroad education, the internship, the global exposure that they get, and at the same time the kind of clinical practices, experience that they gain in abroad countries. So there are major reasons for them to actually go for abroad countries, and this is what has changed recently.
So after hearing what you said, I think we should address the elephant in the room, which is the cost. I think this is where the families feel stuck. So my question is, how MBBS in India is different from MBBS abroad?
To be very honest, the difference is massive. As you were talking about the cost, in India, the government seats are very affordable, but it's limited. So the second option for the students is going for the private college, where just the tuition fees could cost the students close to around 80 lakhs to 1.5 crores. Whereas if I compare it to the MBBS abroad, the total budget in most of the countries would be 25 to 40 lakhs, including the tuition fees, the living expense, which is accommodation and food, alongside their entire documentation and visa charges. So which is very affordable. To give you a very clear picture, what Indian students invest in their 1 year in a private college can cover the entire 6 years journey in abroad countries.
Oh, that comparison alone changes the conversation completely. So when we say MBBS abroad, Indian parents often imagine expensive destination. So my next question would like to address that concern. What are the budget-friendly and reliable destinations for MBBS abroad?
To be very honest, some of the most popular and trusted destinations for Indian students are Russia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. And the reason for this is because these countries offers NMC-compliant universities. They also offer English medium curriculum. With that, these countries are very affordable tuition fees and has very low living cost. With that, the most important point, because it's MBBS, they also offer a very good clinical exposures to the medical students. And this is the reason thousands of students are currently studying or practicing in these countries after successfully completing their graduation from these respective destinations.
Okay, thank you. Since we're talking a lot about NMC and the changes it has brought back in 2024, can you enlighten us more about NMC and its regulations?
When we talk about NMC, which is the National Medical Council, it actually regulates the entire MBBS and Medical Council of India. They have set 5 major guidelines for the Indian students if they are studying in India or going abroad. Which includes the first most important guidelines is that the education needs to be 54 months and above. Second, the curriculum needs to be done in English medium. Third, which is the universities that they are studying needs to have 27 subjects included in the curriculum with 19 departments with the university. Fourth, the university should not allow the students, and neither the students take any university interchange. If I'm taking any university interchange, I would not be eligible to come back to India and apply for my license. Fifth important thing, which is actually very important for the students, is that when they come back to India, before that they either needs to have the registration from that respective country or the licensing, so that they can come and apply for their FMGE or NExT, whichever year they are coming back.
Thank you for highlighting the NMC regulation. They are pretty straightforward and very important. But my next question is quite basic and covers the academic requirement. So who is eligible for MBBS abroad?
The eligibility is pretty straightforward. The student must have 10+2 with physics, chemistry and biology. For the general students, it needs to be 50% and above. For the reserve category, it needs to be 40% and above. The NEET must be qualified in their respective category, and the student must be 17 years and above. And the good part is, when we talk about MBBS abroad, the cutoffs are not sky highs and there is no rank pressures, unlike India.
Okay, since the guidelines are pretty simple, the academic criteria is simple, parents often think the MBBS abroad journey is quite complicated. Can you jot down what the process looks like for a student applying for MBBS abroad?
Sure. It's actually really structured. Shortlisting country and university, checking for eligibility and documents, getting the offer letter generated, fund submission, apply for visa, fly and start your MBBS journey. With right guidance, it's very smooth and transparent.
Okay, so the admission process is quite transparent and straightforward, but it raises a practical concern, which is, what if my loan gets rejected?
That's actually a very nice question, Shuyash. And there are alternatives for this. A student can go for a country where it has very low upfront tuition fees, or they can go for universities where they have the flexibility on tuition fees per semester. Third, they can have sponsorship or co-applicants on their applications when they're planning abroad. And planning early application can reduce the financial pressures that a family gets.
Great. But is there a right or an ideal time for an applicant to start the application journey?
It's actually as soon as possible, or the student ideally can start the process just after their 12th results or NEET examination, as next 2 to 3 months are very critical for the students. The reason is seats are limited, scholarships are given on first come first serve basis, and visa timelines needs buffer. So the students who start the process at a very rightful time avoids last minute panics and bad decisions.
Thank you, Keshav. I think we have covered the major phases in an MBBS aspirant journey. So my final question, and it's a big question, how does the future look like for student returning to India, and is MBBS abroad really worth it?
It's actually very promising, Shuyash. Thousands of foreign graduates clears FMG every year. With NExT, the system becomes uniform for all the doctors, be it India or abroad. Plus, student also gets an opportunity to do international licensing, global medical careers. If you ask me if it's worth or not, 100% it is. MBBS is not a shortcut. It's a very smart, affordable, globally aligned pathway to become a doctor without wasting years or finances.
That's such an important insight. Thank you so much, Keshav, for taking the time out and sharing important insight for MBBS abroad.
Thank you so much, Shuyash, for having me here.
To our listeners, becoming a doctor is the goal. Geography shouldn't limit your dreams. If you want expert guidance, explore Be a Doctor by MetaApply, where students and parents can get clarity, transparency, and the right direction. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay informed, stay confident, and keep believing in your dreams.